We are outside of Davis Wade Stadium right now. We're sort of in the middle of all the action. We got the people with the cowbells behind us. Everyone is so excited. The game is about a half an hour away. But right now we are joined by a very special guest in Northeast head coach Maurice Gowdy. Coach, how you feeling right now?
It's football season. I'm excited.
I think you might have just broke our speakers and everyone else is at home right now, but we love the energy.
Yeah.
Neshoba Central softball competing for a state championship is as common as Tom Brady playing in the Super Bowl.
Right behind me, MCC's baseball team is warming up for tonight's playoff matchup against Colin. Now, both of these teams, they're fighting for a spot in the regional tournament that is taking place later this month.
After a disappointing road loss to Kentucky that saw Mississippi State's only points in that game come off a third quarter safety, fans of the maroon and white were hoping to see something from the Bulldogs offense in their return to Starkville. There's a couple more state game events left. Mountain biking and I think martial arts.
Martial arts. That sounds fun, actually. All
like
right.
my martial arts moves?
There you go. I like them.
Zach Gaines is a senior punter at the University of West Alabama, a D2 program that's produced notable NFL players like Malcolm Butler and Tyreek Hill. But a different NFL player sparked Zach's interest in punting when he was 9 years old.
My dad, his best friend in high school was Jason Elam. He graduated high school with him. He was a Hall of Fame kicker in the NFL. And so growing up with him, my dad learned, certain techniques for kicking and punting and whatnot. And he kind of just said, hey, you need something to fall back onto if you get injured. And long story short behind that, I got injured my senior year and had something to fall back onto. So.
Zach played at Calera High School in Alabama. It was game one of his senior season. While making a tackle on defense, Zach's leg twisted in the wrong direction, and the player he tackled fell on top of it. It was his right leg, the same leg he used for punting. It had been broken in 2 places.
I got selfish for a few days after the injury, a few days after I got surgery on my leg and whatnot. I was kind of selfish, like, why me kind of thing. And I knew that it was for a bigger reason. I know that, somewhere up above there's something that is telling me that, hey, there's a path, believe in it. And so that's what I did, and that's what ended up getting me here.
Before the injury, Zach had generated the attention of D1 programs like Georgia, Alabama, and Auburn. He was offered a spot as a preferred walk-on by Auburn. But when the injury happened, the Tigers backed out. But Auburn's loss became West Alabama's gain as Zach signed to play with a new Tiger team in February of 2016. While battling back from injury was a frustrating time, he looks back on it now with a different mindset.
There's something that happens for a reason for all things, and I truly do believe that. I go in thinking, oh, I'm a Division I athlete, and here I break my leg my first game my senior year, and Coach G and the coaching staff just kind of took a gamble with me and gave me another opportunity, and I couldn't be more thankful for it.
He's happy to be a Tiger, especially since both his father and grandfather played for UWA.
It's pretty cool. I get a lot of attention from it. Like, hey, your grandfather played here, your dad played here. My grandfather's actually in the a team picture out in the lobby in the field house. It's pretty cool. So I get to see that every day.
In Livingston, Ellie French, News Center 11.
I definitely thought lifting weights was going to be harder than it was, and we started very light, but I didn't know that I was going to lift as much as I do now.
Christy Graves is one of 20 athletes that make up Quitman's girls powerlifting team.
This is the first year that we've had a team here for Quitman High School girls powerlifting, and the first year I've coached a team.
All right, let's go.
Forming a new team can be challenging, especially when it's composed of athletes that have never competed in the sport.
There was a lot of growing pains at first. There was a lot of soreness at first couple of weeks of workouts. They thought I was killing them, and I really wasn't. We were just, hey, this is what lifting weights is.
It was a lot of students from different backgrounds. Like, some of us play soccer, softball, or in band, and it was very competitive. Like, we got to see who was going to compete in a meet, who was going to make it.
The team began workouts in November and had their first meet in February.
Once that first meet happened, it's like, oh, this is what this is. And saw folks from other schools, and then workouts kind of took off.
The Lady Panthers had 3 meets this season: the division meet, region meet, and South State meet. They won the division and region and placed 3rd at South State.
And then this Friday we'll lift in the state championships for our 4th meet of the season, and hopefully the stars will align. We'll see what happens.
The journey to state hasn't been easy for some of the team's members.
I wanted to quit because I failed like one time, and I couldn't do that. I failed a lot, and Maddie helped me, Kirsty helped me, like all of them helped me, and it's so sweet.
Through the tears and the aches, the Lady Panthers agree the journey has been worth it and recognize they've built something special together.
I think when you start, you put in a certain amount of work, and once you look back, you can say, I can do this. I'm capable of making it this far, and really just the possibilities are endless.
I'm so happy to have this. Like, I've been wanting this since I started high school.
In Mississippi, it's not uncommon to see a house divided between Mississippi State and Ole Miss. Maybe you went to MSU while your sibling went to Ole Miss. Or maybe you say hotty toddy while your spouse says Hail State. But what about an office divided? Meet Clayton Cobbler and TJ Irby. Both work for Metro Ambulance and Meridian. Both are good friends, but don't see eye to eye when it comes to which team they pledge their allegiance to.
Yes, he wears the maroon colors, Mr. TJ Irby. And he graduated from Mississippi State. He's my office manager. So we've worked together since, I guess, 1984, since when he started working here. So it's been a long time rival there.
My boss, Clayton Cobbler, he's a big Ole Miss fan, and we're pretty tame with it. I've eaten a lot of crow over the years, so I try to keep it kind of down until after the game.
Both their offices are just a short walk down the hall from each other, but both couldn't be more different in look. To go along with his Mississippi State memorabilia, TJ's office is also painted MSU maroon, complete with his own Mississippi State office chair that was actually a gift to him from Clayton. Clayton has the exact same chair, but Ole Miss, of course, which goes perfectly with the Ole Miss helmets, handmade sign, and painting of the Grove in his office. Even as an Ole Miss grad and diehard fan, Clayton still has an MSU connection.
His daughter graduated from Mississippi State, so he has to deal with this problem every day, so I'm thankful for that.
I raised her right. I tried. We took her to Ole Miss games. I've got a picture of a cheerleader holding her. She chased Eli Manning down one time when she was little and had her cheerleader outfit on. I have never written a check to Mississippi State. Now, I'll write her a check. What she does with her money, there's nothing I can do about that. But I have never written a check to Mississippi State.
In Meridian, Ellie French, News Center 11.
Now, News Center 11 Sports with Ellie French.
After finishing the regular season, winning 8 of their last 9 games, Meridian Community College baseball earned the opportunity to begin the playoffs at home. The Eagles opening up postseason play tonight against Colin Community College. Both teams competing in a best-of-3 series, with the winner advancing on to the regional tournament later this month. Things, though, would not start out great for MCC. Top of the first, Peyton Parker. He rips a home run deep to left center field right there in the corner. The Wolves, they had a runner on base, so Parker is going to give Colin an early 2-0 lead. But the Eagles, they weren't stressing just yet. Still an early ball game. And in their next at-bat, John Mitchell, he would deliver in a big way. Sends a pitch soaring into center field, and it is out of here. Mitchell, he evens up the score with a 2-run shot of his own. And just like that, folks, we have ourselves a ball game. But the hits, they didn't stop there for Mitchell. In the 3rd inning, he would drive in Braden Luke all the way from second for the RBI single. As MCC, they would jump ahead to a 4-2 lead after that. The Eagles, they would tack on another 4 runs as the night went on, while Colin would add on 3. But in the end, MCC would take this one 8-5. Now, both teams will return to action tomorrow at 2 p.m. That game at Skaggs Field. Over in Decatur, East Central Community College baseball also began postseason play tonight. The Warriors hosted Northwest Mississippi Community College for a best-of-3 series. Walker Johnson would fan the final 3 batters for Northwest to seal the 5-4 victory for East Central. Johnson, Hayden West, and Urban Simmons combined for 13 Ks on the night for the Warriors. While on offense, Clay Cook led the way with 3 hits, and Jesse Boydson drove in a team-high 3 runs. Now, East Central returns to action tomorrow at 2 p.m., and that is going to be for Game 2. To the SEC now, as number 4 Mississippi State begins a road series at number 19 South Carolina tonight. The Dogs, they would attack early. Cameron James finding the gap in right. That's going to bring home Rowdy Jordan for the first run of the night for the Bulldogs. Now, one run was all they needed to, because Christian McLeod, he was doing that thing where he throws the ball past the other team's bats. Yeah, gets Colin Burgess right there to end the third, and then catches the inside corner right there on David Mendham to close out the fourth. 6 strikeouts and 7 scoreless innings for him tonight. And the offense, well, they had his back, knocking out 12 hits en route to a 9-0 shutout victory. As Mississippi State, they easily take care of business over the Gamecocks. And now more action around the SEC. Ole Miss baseball, they would fall in a heartbreaker as Texas A&M walks it off with a leadoff solo home run to take Game 1 9-8. Meanwhile, Alabama began a tough weekend against number 2 Vanderbilt, but the Tide, they still managed to stay afloat in Game 1, falling to the Commodores 9-6. And now we go to some prep baseball playoff action. Clarkdale, Southeast Lauderdale, Starkdale, Southeast Lauderdale, and West Lauderdale, they're all advancing on to the third round of the playoffs with their wins tonight. Meanwhile, Lake season unfortunately going to come to an end after they fall to Mize 10-2. In Neshoba Central and Newton County, they both get victories tonight, and they're going to force a Game 3 for second round playoff action. High school softball semifinals taking place tonight for our Mississippi Public Schools. Game 2 of Sebastopol and Stringer. Unfortunately, the Lady Cat season would end as they fall to Stringer 4-3 in the South State Championship. Meanwhile, in Lake, Taylor Duncan, she threw a no-hitter to help the Lady Hornets to an 11-0 shutout victory over Taylorsville, a very good team in Game 1. And West Lauderdale, they were on the road at Kosciuszko tonight. Breland Kane threw a complete shutout game to help lead the Lady Knights to a 1-0 win. And a reminder that tomorrow, Neshoba Central, they're going to host Saltillo for Game 1 of that North State Championship.